Hi, guys. Welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. I am recording this on September 6th at 9:45 a.m. Pacific. So first things first, if you guys wouldn't mind, like just logging in and signing up for my Substack page. The only reason I'm saying this is because a lot of YouTube content creators are getting in trouble and getting pulled from YouTube, and I still want to do this. So if I say something I'm not that they don't like, if you go to my Substack page and sign up, it's free. I'm not going to charge anybody until they start charging me. I'm not going to charge you guys. And that way, when I go to Podbean, which I'm going to set up this week, you guys will know where I went. So just sign up if you don't mind. The other thing I would love to ask you guys to do for me is there's a new feature on YouTube called Hype. I didn't know anything about it until somebody commented and said they did that for me. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. But it's for content creators like me that have under 500,000 subscribers, and it's to help get us more known. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's not available for every YouTube user. But if you don't mind clicking that for me, I would really appreciate that. You guys, that would mean a lot to me. So thank you for that. Anyway, oh my gosh, Chicago, move over. The next in line for having their city invaded is actually Portland. I don't know if you guys heard about this. I didn't even know this was happening. I live in the Portland area. I don't live in Portland proper, but I live in the Portland area. And apparently, for the last almost 3 months, there's been riots every night in front of an ICE detention center. I mean, obviously, this was such a big deal. It wasn't even on our local news. I didn't even know about it. I had to Google it like you guys whenever Trump said he's thinking about going into Portland and fixing the problem. And I found out, I saw these interviews with people who live in the area and have been listening to this every night for like 3 months, who probably wouldn't mind, probably wouldn't mind the National Guard coming in and putting a stop to it so they can sleep. Because apparently that area has a lot of apartment buildings, and people are like, could you guys please stop? It's obviously we know that they know we don't want them here. Yeah, they're not leaving. So anyway, do I see it actually happening? I think this one actually has a decent chance of having a small contingency. What they were showing me was one of the differences with Chicago is that our governor Tina Kotek is clearly not running for president. Yeah, she's not doing the posturing thing. She's not in front of cameras like some of the other, like Pritzker is. Pritzker does appear to be running for president eventually. And I know you guys in the comments are like, we can't talk about this now. It's way too early. I don't blame you. You're right. But these people are appearing to run, and they're posturing like they're running for president. So it's like, how can we not talk about it? I agree. I'm with you. I'm still getting over the trauma of the last one, but my point is, I think there's a decent chance there'll be a small contingent of something. It's more of a posturing, like, hey guys, stop. But I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. I do see them going to Chicago though, you guys, and I think they're already there. I don't think that's news to anyone. I'm sorry, I really am. But yeah, I do see that happening, and I do see them leaving soon. I do see the courts coming down and saying, hey, you really can't do this for these reasons, but they might give them an out to do it for other reasons. So I think what the Trump administration kind of wants is for this thing to escalate and even more issues to erupt, that would cause problems that they can say, hey, look, this is our people are being fired upon. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think there'll be a lot of passive aggressive behavior, but I don't see the people of Chicago taking the bait. You guys are smart. You know what's going on. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I might be wrong. And having said that, this is being presented for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor, a lawyer, stock portfolio manager. I know that surprises you guys to know that I'm not a doctor. I'm really not a doctor. I know I seem really incredibly smart, but yeah, such a surprise. Anyway, and also, in all fairness, sometimes I am just plain wrong. All of us who do this are. So I'm right a lot, but sometimes I'm wrong. So don't buy a house based on anything I said. That's my point. Okay. So what's been in the news lately? So yeah, I was feeling like, I know a lot of people are saw the Trump health problems, and I felt this way too, like that he was going to be sooner than later, that he was going to not be president anymore. I do think it's going to take a little bit longer than we think. I'm feeling like it could even be, I feel like it could be Vance before the end of the year. As far as the other event of him, being permanently not a part of our lives, I don't see that happening for a little bit, you guys. I just think my guides always tell me things take longer than you think they're going to take. We know, those of us that are intuitive, which most of you guys watching are, let's be honest, you start getting messages about stuff months, sometimes for something really big, like a big move to another state. You're going to get those messages years before it actually happens. You're going to start seeing that house with that beautiful deck and that nice view and the deer in the backyard years before it shows up. And you're going to think, oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, it's like next month. Oftentimes it's not. Like, our guides start to send us this stuff early so that we get comfortable with the idea of these changes. Okay, you guys. So I do think it's going to be a little bit. Having said that, I do think we're going to see Vance before the next 6 months. I think he's actually more involved than we think. I do think he's just dying to be president. He wants it so bad. He's like, why is this taking so long? People have asked in the comments, and this is a fair question, how will he be as a president? I'm going to do a deeper dive, and I'm going to see if I can get Jacqueline to look at his chart again, and we can like do a thing. Jacqueline's a frequent guest on the show. If you haven't seen her episode, you should. It was great. It was amazing. It was awesome. I love her. I love her. She's awesome. But what I was seeing, well, all I was really being shown was that he was not going to be very effective, that there was going to be a lot of things that you and I would take great objection to, like marriage equality, like women's rights for women's bodies rights. But I don't see him actually getting any traction because he's just not the same guy. But we'll do a deeper dive on that in a later episode, okay, you guys. But that's what I'm seeing initially. So I'm feeling like, should you be worried? No, I'm not seeing that. I'm really not. That's just not what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing a little bit more impulse control with him than with the other guy. But that can be good and it can be bad. He's also going to be doing more things behind closed doors than 47 is. 47 does a lot of things out in public, and we see it. I don't think Vance is going to play that game. I think he's going to do a lot more closed door things where we're not really going to know until later what actually happened, if we ever find out at all. Humor me, guys. I'm still like recovering from something. Okay, so the Epstein, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, the victims coming out. I love that. I love that we saw that. It's hard for me to like, I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this one. It's hard for me to get past the crazy that I've seen her done in the past. When I tune into her energy, she is just as crazy as she has been before. I do feel like she's running for re-election. She doesn't want to lose her seat. She's appearing to be more normal than I would say that she really is. I would just look at how she's been in the past and just that be your guide if you're deciding if you want to vote for her. Having said that, I'm really happy about what's happening with the Epstein. I'm glad that the Democrats and the Republicans are coming together on this. And there was something that Thomas Massey said that I thought was just awesome, you guys, was that he said that if the Epstein victims actually made that list, they would be sued into homelessness. And oh my God, he is so right. That is exactly what was happening. It was my first thought when they said they were going to make the list. I'm like, you guys better figure out a way to make this totally anonymous, because they will come after you for everything that your grandchildren would ever make. This it's not going to go bad. I do see we'll see some names, but I feel like it'll be people that are maybe not on the planet anymore, or people that are not prominent, that just don't have enough. I just don't see us ever getting all the information. I kind of feel like it's going to be like the JFK thing. We're never going to get all of it. They may say we got it all, but I don't think we're ever going to get all of it. And I think that's just the way it is. And will justice ever be done? No. There may be a measure of justice, but it won't be satisfying. That's what I'm seeing, you guys. I'm sorry, but that's the way I'm seeing it. It'll never feel like justice was really done. I think there's just too many people connected with this, okay? What else? Oh, yeah. National Guard. Hey, you guys, I'd be curious to know, because I know that like we're sending National Guard into places, against Americans and calling these National Guards people police officers. How do the real police feel about this, you guys? I would just be curious if some of you guys watching are police, could you say, does this bother you? Or, because they go to school for this. They spend a lot of time training. They learn stuff. They learn laws. I don't think that's what the training that the National Guard gets, but I wasn't there. I've never been either of those occupations. I would just be curious, but I don't feel like, I feel like there will be some question in terms of, how much are we paying these people versus how much we're paying those people. I believe that police officers make more than National Guards people, but if they're doing the same job, should they be paid the same, or do we pay women the same as men? I feel like there may be some conversation around that. Somebody's got an uncle who's a lawyer who would really love to take this case on. Uh, Maybe somebody from Harvard who's got a little grudge against the 47 administration, is a little mad about what happened. I know you guys probably heard that they won their money back. They found, judge said that they couldn't just take their money, their grant money. I wouldn't hold my breath on the Trump administration sending that check over right away. I think they're just going to delay and delay, delay. I think that's what they're going to do. But I'm hoping I'm wrong on that, because it's a college, and it's sad because that money was probably already spent. They probably already have. They do a lot of research there. It's sad. Okay. So I wanted to answer a question that I got from a pharmacist. You guys, pharmacists wanted to know: are they going to take away our vaccines? I lost a really huge video that had like 100,000 views when I asked that question. This was a few years ago, so I'm not sure. I might be able to say that word now. But anyway, she wanted to know if RFK was going to take away our jabs. I was seeing, and I think this is already happening, that they are going to restructure how they do it, and that there may be some that you can't get anymore, that are really hard to get, or they may just like take away the money for some that are not really profitable for the pharmaceutical companies. I feel like there's something around that. But in terms of being able to get some, I still see that most of the ones that you guys are the most concerned about are still going to be available. And it is clear, I think that Trump himself even said that he and RFK are not on the same page with this issue. I do think there's going to be some backing off. I do see them interestingly, rewriting guidelines, like I just said, but also people in the room who aren't really qualified. It's like, surprise, surprise, you guys. Not the most qualified. Maybe not a lot of people with PhD after their name or MD after their name writing these guidelines. And when the general public finds out who's making these guidelines, they might get really, really, really mad. Maybe I'll get really mad. I don't know. I would like to have a scientist in the room. I feel like that's important, but nobody asked me, and I'm kind of nobody in this conversation. I do see some changes happening, right? So if you're one who's concerned about a particular one and you're supposed to get it, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but there is going to be some shifting and some changing, and I do feel like that some things are going to be hard to get. And like I said in a previous video, I do still see a very rough, illness period for this winter. I feel like it's going to be the bad cold and flu season this year, you guys. And I think that's going to play back. I think that's going to make him look bad. I think people are going to be really angry at this, looking at the CDC and saying, well, who's in charge? Anyway, that's my perspective on it. Yeah, I do think that's going to be rough. And I think this is going to be the blowback. But I, like I said before, I just don't see him getting taken out of power for that. I feel like there'll be some other scandal. It feels like there may be some, too much connection to a pharmaceutical company, something with money. I mean, right? Like I said last time, it's always about money, right? The tariffs, I talked about this before. I'm going to say it again. I do see them getting rid of the tariffs. They keep kicking this down the road. It keeps getting delayed, It's going to go to the Supreme Court, but are they going to see it tomorrow? Probably not. I don't see refunds being given, you guys. I don't. So don't hold your breath on that. But I do see the tariffs going away, and them perhaps even trying to do it the right way. I don't know. It's not really the way the Trump administration likes to do it. But I do see the tariffs going away, or getting down to like a normal level, like 15%, kind of like what it was, honestly. You guys remember a few months ago, it was a lot of people like me and others were saying that we were seeing like a big state funeral, basically, for a leader. I'm starting to get a hit that's still coming, and I feel like it might be Prince Charles. Like, I feel like in the next 6 months, we're gonna be seeing, him moving on, and his son being put into the kingship and having, his event, which I do feel like quite a bit more toned down. It's gonna cause a big rift. It's already a big rift. I do see, we've seen in the news his children are trying to reconcile, and it's very sad. But I feel like that is what we saw that didn't happen, because it was the same. I mean, a lot of us, me too, we're seeing this big state situation, event. And Ozzy Osbourne had died. Well, obviously, royalty, really, nobility is not going to be going to see Ozzy Osbourne's funeral, and maybe they did. I didn't see that, but that's not. I don't think that's what I was seeing. So I still feel like that is coming in the next six months, around that time period. Timing is tough, though. Timing's tough for all of us. That's one of the reasons a lot of us have astrologers visit the show, because they can give timing to things that we're seeing. Okay. People in the comments were asking me about Greta Thunberg. I'm probably saying her name wrong. I apologize to Greta. She's doing a flotilla going to Palestine. Wow, that's tough. The energy around that, gosh, if you guys if you want to feel what negative energy feels like, tune into that. Oh, there you go. There's a masterclass in it. Is she safe? I do feel like they're going to stop it. I do feel like they may arrest her. Do I think they're going to unalive her? No, I don't think that. I think they're going to, tell her she can't ever come into those waters. They're going to, say that she violated a whole bunch of laws. She probably might have violated some laws, just by coming into the international waters out there. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, clearly. But I do feel like she's going to be safe, but I think I don't see it going well in terms of, I think it's drawing a lot of attention. The administration in Israel is not happy about this. And they're going to try and scare her. They're going to send planes and drones and very threatening things over there to try and scare her. That's what I see. But if the question is she still going to be on the planet in 8 months? Yeah, she's going to be okay. But I think she may question whether should continue to do these kinds of things against such a formidable opponent. There's a little bit of fight the fight you can win with this, and I think this is a fight she can't win. But she can certainly draw attention, and there may be. I would, if she was my friend, I would say there might be other ways you can do this that can achieve the same result, but without putting so many people, including yourself, in danger for this. But she didn't ask me, so there you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, so September. You guys don't know this. I pull cards before I do these, but I don't usually show them because I feel like shuffling cards and showing is not really what I want to do. But then having said that, I watch other people who do it and I love it. Like shuffling cards and show you. I'm going to show you the cards I pulled for September because it does look like a really rough month. I mean, I've had astrologers on here talking about the eclipses, Jacqueline Holton, and there's a lot of stuff coming and it feels very, very chaotic. There's world things, yes, and we always focus on world things on these types of shows, but I want you to think about yourself personally. How are you feeling? What changes do you want to make? What do you want to bring in that's different? Because there's going to be a lot of things coming up for people where they're seeing, they're not happy with the direction they're going. They're not happy where they live. They're not happy with their job. They're feeling stuck. They're feeling trapped. They want to make a change, or maybe they're unhappy about what's going on in their community. And bring it back to yourself, because the news is going to be the news and you can't really change that as much as you'd like to. It's just not as easy, but you can make massive changes within your own world. And one of those I would encourage you to consider is less consumerism, but that's just me. I drive a 15-year-old car and I can afford a new one, you guys. But I actually really love that car. I don't want to get rid of it. So cards I pulled. Now, one of the other reasons I don't like to show cards so much is because, those of us who do tarot cards, we all have our own interpretation of them. I'm just saying, I'm going to put some of these up there and say what they mean, but you guys are going to be like, no, that's not what that means. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter, right? Conflict, lots of conflict, holding on to your own resources, spending time, bringing it back to you, not oversharing, holding on to your own power. Surprise events coming in, things coming in and then leaving. Something coming into the news being very shocking and then leaving, okay? Looking at the harvest and not necessarily being happy with what's happened or what's going on, but still looking at it and then kind of pausing to consider, like, how do I do this differently, or what I want to create in my life? Not being satisfied with what you've been receiving. So you've got all these things in front of you. You're looking at this. You used to be happy with it. Now you're going, I'm not sure if I really like this. I'm not sure if I really love this house anymore. I'm not really sure I love this location anymore. I'm not sure I don't love this job. Unconscious, spending time with your spiritual, lots of surprises. I would say hidden information, things coming out into the public, but into your personal public too. Stuff that you didn't know, like flashes of insights, being in the shower and getting an inspiration about a new book or a new project. write the book, do the project, put a little effort into it, okay? Or do some research at least. Worried about bad things happening, worry, over worry. Um, a lot of us are worried. I mean, a car, that's just part of it, right? Conflict, lots of conflict. What's going on? One thing that I expected to see that I didn't was the Tower and the Death card, which is like endings and new beginnings. I didn't see that this month. That's good because those are rough. They can be rough. They can be rough. But I do see ultimately a lot of people shifting direction in September, making changes, a lot of world changes happening. By the end of the year, I think things are going to look pretty different. And what I want you to sort of grab onto is hope and possibility. Sorry. And yeah, I guess that's my sign to be done. I love you guys. I'll see you again later in the week. Take care of yourselves, okay? And like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. That would mean so much to me. Doesn't cost you anything. Just, And oh, and if you happen to be a cop, put in the comments, how do you feel about this stuff? I'd be curious, be civil about it, but I'd be curious, okay, you guys? Love you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.